Hey everybody, this is Rev in the Brew Garage up in Washington State. Happy Homebrew Wednesday, July 13th, 2016. Last week I showed you my new jockey box. I got a chance to use it at an event this past weekend with about 100 folks. It worked great. I still want to work on those modifications I talked about a little bit. I want to make it kind of a more modular system with the keg cooler on the bottom, some framing and covers to go around that. And then the jockey box will sit up on top of it, kind of a one-piece, or excuse me, kind of a stackable modular system, so that it looks more one piece when I get it all set up. More on that project later. I talked last week about how June represented kind of a brewing relaunch for me. Been about 8 or 9 months since my last brew. We got busy, blew out my shoulder playing hockey, so I couldn't lift anything, but I'm back. So in June I brewed 3 beers. I brewed a German Pils, a Best Bitter, and a Dark Mild. Sorry, still struggling to convert my brain over to the new 2015 guidelines, so stuck with those old ones for now while I try and wrap my head around that. And just this last week I finished up a brew and a Classic American Pilsner with all cluster hops. That's bubbling away in the background right now. I'm going to cut away for just a minute, and then I'll do a quick pour of my 3 June brews and an on-air testing. All right, I'm back, left to right. Got my German Pils, my Best Bitter, and my Dark Mild. The German Pils is pretty cold, so the glass a little bit fogged up. It's pretty close to brilliant. The other two are served up a little bit warmer, so you don't have as much fog on the glass. There's the bitter. It's a little bit, maybe a little bit overcarbonated for the style. And the Dark Mild. Oops. All right, so starting with this German Pils, you can see it's got a really nice foam stand going on there, nice color. Kind of, you can smell the grain. I'm not sure, I have a hard time describing like the different grain flavors. A little bit crackery maybe, maybe white bread toast. Not much in the way of hop aroma. Really nice grainy sweetness and maybe a little bit of alcohol sweetness. This came in about 4.8% and brewed a little bit low. It finishes nice and dry, even though it's got a little bit of grain sweetness. Finishes nice and dry with grain notes and a firm hop undertone from those classic German Hallertauer hops. Again, the grain flavor is pretty much the same as the aroma. Very light, grainy flavor, you know, kind of like, I'm trying to think of what those kind of crackers are. Can't think of it, sorry. Or maybe a little bit of white bread toast. The bitter has a nice English hop aroma. I did a lot of late charge of East Kent Goldings, so you get a little bit of that in the nose, dry hopped on East Kent Goldings as well. Color's nice. I'm surprised at how clear it is, considering that it is dry hopped. I'm pretty amazed that there's not any haze in that. A little bit of a biscuity, rich malt nose, maybe a hint of sweeter caramel in the nose, but not much, mostly biscuity. Got a nice round malty flavor, kind of a little bit darker grain notes obviously than the Pilsner malt gives you in the German Pils. This one's more a little bit maybe darker crackers, or darker grain biscuits or rolls, and those English hops are really shining through. They're really pretty good in balance, not super bitter. Pretty good. Got a little fruit fly there. All right, and then the dark mild. Now I will admit publicly right now that I did a little something out of style on this one. The 2 beers that I served up at that event with about 100 people that I served over my jockey box were the German Pils, which I brewed for the guest of honor. Spent some time stationed in Germany. His favorite beers are all German styles, in particular Pils, so that's why I brewed that one up for him. And then I knew that there were going to be some dark beer fans, even though it's summertime, so I brewed a nice light bodied, low alcohol beer for them. But given that we're going to have some non-beer people trying beers at this event, and mild can be a little bit off-putting, kind of flat, a little bit sweet and malty. Not everybody's looking for that, especially during the summer, so I hate to admit this, but I did dry hop with a little bit of East Kent Goldings, about a quarter of an ounce in a 3-gallon batch. The dry hop was really young. I only had it on there for, I think, less than 48 hours and then pulled it out just to give it a little bit of uncharacteristic, not to style hop background for those that are not super beer geeky type people who would be turned off by the mild style. Usually I wouldn't care, but got to get people liking beer. So the nose on this is really malty, maybe a little vanilla, has some chocolate notes, dark fruit aroma. Got some good residual body and malt sweetness, and I have to tell you that East Kent Goldings hop note, that dry hop note, is not terrible. It's not like a traditional mild style, but man, it makes this just a little bit more refreshing than a mild sometimes is. That's pretty darn good. Again, I brewed the German Pils and the dark mild for that event, which happened to be a good kickoff for my jockey box. The German Pils was a big hit. It was kind of a military function, so lots of people who have been stationed in Germany very familiar with German beer. Lots of craft brew aficionados, a couple of home brewers, and the German Pils was a big hit. It was maybe even a little more popular than the commercial IPA that somebody else had pouring there. The dark mild, not everybody's favorite, but I got everybody trying it, and everybody finished their pour and thought it was pretty good. It was around 80 degrees outside, so most people aren't like me. I'm a little bit of a weirdo. A porter is like lawnmower beer to me, or a brown ale, an English brown ale is like a lawnmower beer to me, but most people aren't like that. So only the true dark beer folks were really into that. And I did not pour the, look at the lacing on that one. I did not pour the bitter at that event. It's pretty good tasting. Boy, hard work. Now I got to finish these a little bit later. Awesome. It's summertime. My kids, friends are around a lot, and we go camping with other families and whatnot. So we've been getting back into making homemade sodas again. In years past, we experimented around with a couple of recipes. Like we have a pretty good ginger ale recipe, Caribbean island style ginger ale with fresh ginger, a little bit of lemon in there. I prefer that. It's a little bit nice and refreshing, but the ginger really comes through. But this summer, my wife really wanted a good cream soda that's not as sickly sweet as a commercial brew. So we really have worked on dialing in our cream soda recipe. It's pretty much spot on. If we can get it when the carbonation is up, it's pretty much spot on. So that's great, all dialed in. Right now we're kind of in pursuit of a few, we want to get some nice refreshing fruit sodas going. Again, the idea being not super overly sweet like commercially produced ones, but refreshing and fruity and sweet enough that it feels like you're drinking a soda. So we're working on tinkering those recipes and getting those fixed up. So until next time, this has been Rev in the Brew Garage up in Washington. Drink well. Sláinte.